I would like to go over the assignment. In this class, you will be creating a database, you'll be creating some tables, and you'll be importing 2 tables. First, from the Databases tab, you will create the database name. This appears to be the default collation, so that is fine. You want to name the database college_your last name. Notice I already have mine created. Once you have created the database, you will be prompted to create a table. First, I would like to go over importing 2 tables. Make sure you have the database selected so it knows where to import the table into. You will browse. This table exists as a .sql file, and you can open it in its editor and see that it consists of SQL commands. You can leave everything else as the default value here and click Go. Now you will get a lot of messages here. One of the messages will be that 54 rows have been inserted. If you look to the navigation section, you see the members table. If I click on it, it shows me that there are 54 rows, and I can see the data here. If I go into the structure, I can see the structure, how this table was created. This table was created several years ago, and I probably would have created it differently at the present time. We have 13 columns. The student ID, which is the primary key and an auto increment, the first name, last name, the gender, which is an enum data type, the birth date, which is a date data type, address, city, state is a character data, which consists of 2 characters for the state code, the default here being CA for California. We have a postal code, which is a varchar, because we don't know whether or not the person has a long postal code because they could be in another country. We also have a column for the country, again a 20-character varchar, because we don't know the name of the country. And I did not use country codes, I just used the country name. However, I do have a default here for USA. We have a phone, which is varchar, because the person couldn't put hyphens or parentheses, and we have an email, and we have an advisor ID. You will also be importing the scholarships_students table. I will take all the defaults and click Go. Again, I will get a lot of messages here. Ultimately, it will tell me that 21 rows are inserted. On the left, I see my table. I can see that there are 21 rows here. I can look at the structure, and this table only has 3 columns, the primary key and 2 other columns. So now when I click on the name of the database, I can see that there are 2 tables so far in my database. I would like to point out in the members table, we have rows number 1 through 25. However, on the next screen, we start at rows 80. I had deleted some rows at some point, and because it's an auto number, it picks up where you left off. The first row is my information, although it's not necessarily true. I would like you to edit that row and change my information to your information. It doesn't have to be true, but I would just like to see your name there, please. Next, you will create the scholarships table. So when I click on the database name, I see the tables that are in the database, and I also have the option to create another table. We will create the structure for the scholarships table, and you will import the actual data from a CSV file. So the name of our table is scholarships, and there are 5 columns. I click go. So our first column will be scholarship ID. It is a varchar data type. We have 10 characters, and that will be our primary key. The organization, varchar 50. Amount, this is going to be decimal. And you want to type in 7,2. That is how we format a decimal value, saying it will be up to 7 places with 2 decimal points. And we want to make this an unsigned value, meaning it cannot be negative. The semester is going to be an enum type. So we need to scroll down to find that. And it will give you the link to set the values. And there will be 2 values that will be fall and spring. So I will type them in. It gives me 4 value placeholders here. I can add more if I need them. And if I don't need them, please delete them because it will show up as empty if you don't. The year will be a year based on a date type. So here's date and time, and there is year. And we want 4 characters in length. We will set the collation of our table here. And we are not allowing null values in any of these fields. I will click Save. And here we see our structure that we coded in. And we see that we have the scholarships table there. Now we will import the data from the Import tab. You need to make sure that you are selected in the scholarships table because that is the table in which we are importing the data. I go to the Import tab and I'm going to browse for my CSV file. I will take all of the defaults. I will click Go. I will get my messages here. And it shows me that every row has been inserted. It shows me the actual rows here. When I browse, I can see my scholarships. So there is one more table that you will create. That is the advisors table. And the information for that is found on the handout. Ultimately, you will have 4 tables in the college database.